had no time to even change. So I'll repeat myself in this live stream because I know lives don't record the first few minutes for some reason on replay. But you might be wondering, why is there sudden activity in the Kenny Veach case, the M Cave mystery? What's happened? What's ultimately changed? Why am I here? Well, I'm going to do a bit of an analysis and explain it to you bit by bit, okay? Somehow, the live stream has already been liked with a thumbs up, but no one's watching. That's very, very clever, YouTube. Very interesting. But I'm going to explain why I'm able to do what I do. Why things have been picked up on all of a sudden when beforehand, 2020, 2021, it wasn't a video every day. It was just when it was possible. And yet, how do you go from doing it for a year or two, key videos here and there, the freshest, most important stuff then, to now doing it almost daily? How's that even possible? You know, you think daily coverage in the early days and then it would tail out after. It's been the complete opposite this time round. But it's because of the evolution with myself and how I've covered stuff. Okay? So that's the explanation I'm going to go into today with depth. I also feel like that there might be people along the way which elsewhere have kind of given up on the case, given up on the mystery, not acknowledged the true depth behind it. You put aside Kenny Veach and even the M Cave, there's still a lot out there and mysteries along the way. So, with that all being said, hopefully the live stream is working now. Hopefully the quality and the audio is working, because I'm not in the mood to be pissing about, okay, when technology decides to fail, because there's important stuff to talk about at this moment in time. And speaking of which, we've got Glenn. Welcome back, Glenn. I shouldn't say welcome back because you're always here, so that's good to see. 6 people showing up. Let's see if we get that discoverability actually working. Okay, so YouTube doesn't try to reduce the focus. A live stream doesn't always receive notifications, but the theme and topic should be important enough to bring the right people in at the right time. So give or take, the previous videos, what I've done almost day after day, and tonight kind of counts as well with it being a live stream. I think we'll see how it goes. But as for the discussions, as for the hunger, that appears to be visible and present, and that's a good thing. There's been some times in the past where I might have returned back with the odd video that needed to be done and it just didn't quite work. Maybe it was the timing, maybe the discoverability, maybe the title or the thumbnail, I don't know. But there are moments where important stuff needs to be covered, and arguably more important stuff now than ever before. And that's what I'm getting at. It might be hard to believe, because after all this time, how can there be new things to look at? We got Travis Neighbours. I think I said it correct this time round. We got Alfie. Welcome. Throat is messed up at the moment. Has been for some weeks. It's a miracle that I've been able to do videos and the narration without too much coughing, but with it being a live stream, there's no editing. Not had time to take my coat off, Imperial, from going outside in a greenhouse to the shack to the bedroom. I've been all over the place trying to do a live in a short space of time. Wanted to do it outside, change of scenery, but just wasn't possible. So welcome to the case, Alfie and Imperial. If you do have questions along the way, and that applies to anyone watching, if you do have questions in regard to the case, in regard to my thoughts, in regard to how I've come up with these ideas and videos. Strawberry, welcome back. Hopefully it's all fixed now. Looks like something's failing here and there. Can't get you on my tablet, only the phone. I guess your phone is more compatible with me because your phone has more experience with me. I've never quite taken a look at your tablet just yet. So we'll get to that some other time. But yeah, I think it was Travis. I was saying, you know, ref, asking the right questions, some key videos, key topics, talking points and whatnot. And You know, it's some stuff which wasn't possible in the past. Oh, Strawberry, you missed me unzipping my coat before. Actually, this is the new one which I've got, which was some months ago now, but you can't see. So yeah, it's out of sight. And the new top as well. But it's no fashion show today because it's all about Kenny Veach, M-Cave, and Mystery. Just the right temperature. So, started in 2020, videos here and there. Not every day, just wasn't possible. 2021, same there. All the way up to 2022 before, I think, July of 2022. Because that's when I transitioned on to my first ever true crime case of Dylan Rounds. And you might wonder, how does covering true crime enable me to do what I do right now in terms of the frequency, the depth, the consistency, certain aspects of reach, and I can explain it quite clear. Welcome to the 21 people that are now currently here in the live stream. Much appreciated. Any questions, drop a comment down below. In today's live, we're talking about why the case has a lot more activity now than it did before. And whilst whilst I'm present, how I'm able to pick up on it. And then a bit later talking about the theme of people giving up on the case, but playing it off, really playing it down when there's more importance than ever. Imperial says, watching since 2021. Love the updates. Well, that's good to know. Shout out to Imperial Wizard, long time viewer there. That's good. Much left in that. We got Cleo present. Best be on good behaviour, Cleo. Sam, 25 now watching, much appreciated. When I went to the true crime case community for the very first time, brand new to me. By covering true crime and with other stuff going on in the background, it's the reason to why videos were being done every single day, but not every case, not every topic or genre can mean you can make videos every single day. The Kenny Veach case was a perfect example in the past of scarcity in resources, material, and footage. Only so much that you can work with and use at the time. Wow, 31 people watching live. That's really good to see. So once again, welcome if you're new, welcome if you just joined. If you want to rewind back, feel free to do so. And if not, just a quick recap talking about the importance of why the Kenny Veach M-Cave case is more important than ever, more activity than ever, new ideas, new videos, new creepy, strange, odd findings, and beyond. We got Lena Torkiva, welcome. Hi is dead, and that is 100%. I think it's time to forget about his cave. Well, you sound rather confident, Lena. I mean, there's been people in the past that have come across that way by just downplaying it and saying, that's it, game over. But what if I was to tell you, Lena, is that you put aside Kenny Veach, you put aside the M-Cave. Oh, there's no mystery. There's many more mysteries than you could possibly think out there, some of which documented by hikers. And I believe to some extent even Travis' neighbours has felt that presence out there, has acknowledged the possibilities of phantom footsteps. If a level-headed individual can go out there for the very first time in their own way and agree and understand what other hikers have experienced, others that have been out there multiple times, that does speak volume. We've got Mitzi, welcome Mitzi, the cat lady, back. We've got Jeff Clark present too, which is good. Kenny is a true missing 411 case. It is only logical answer. Yeah, missing 411 normally associated with national parks, going out there and the unexplained, the unexpected. It kind of partially relates in some way. David Paulides on missing 411, David Paulides on the Kenny Veach case to some extent, also did coverage on the Noah Presgrove case, true crime, which I've covered. And I'll tell you something, absolutely disastrous. Face palming so much, the bed's almost broken. So Strawberry, you might have to buy a new one there. The coverage was so bad, no research done, linking it with aliens when Noah's body was found on the highway and the injuries with the autopsy associated with blunt force injury and not being probed by some weird alien stick or anything like that, whilst also trying to insert his book. By the way, buy my book. That was not a good outlook there. It doesn't look good. So there's a really interesting crossover. When I was covering the Dylan Rounds true crime case to be where I am now, that direction I went in, Scott Natal, Kenny Veach M Cave hiker, was also looking for Dylan Rounds, his brother Les Natal as well too. Have come full circle. I don't think it applies as much now, but Scott Natal and well, more so Scott Natal, a few months ago, Jeff Clark did return back covering it on the M Cave. I don't know if it was the same location, but yeah, that's what happened. And as for Travis Neighbours and Jeff Clark and any other hikers about, fair enough, Jeff, when Scott was out there, he was panning the camera around, and then in the distance on the mountaintop, there was supposedly a strange figure lurking, just stood there. Now, it's hard to tell what it was, but it came across that way. We got Conservative Jay, welcome from Canada. Anything else? The soldiers worked very well, so no evidence will not be found. Just catching up with the comments. So just take me a second. We've got Andrew Colver, who I kept saying was from Australia, but is actually from, I think, New Zealand, even though there's no kangaroos there. Travis, how did you find out about Kenny's car? For me, it was on a Reddit post and then Sean's video from there on. Okay. So the way I see it, Travis, there are news articles, or there were over time, which made references or quotes to the search team, search and rescue. But as Jeff Clark would agree, because he's witnessed it, official news articles have deleted, been removed, disappeared with time. As for why, who knows? Natal claimed that Kenny's loop was 10 miles south, said he personally knew the filmmaker who made Kenny's video. Scott Natal was the one that went up Pine Nut Road, which was weird. Yeah, Jeff Clark says many articles have been removed on Kenny Veach, official articles on Kenny Veach. Welcome to 41 people watching live now. But it is true, there is more activity in this case than ever before. And even when looking back at the past, more than ever, picking up more than ever. See, some people here and there have said, Warlike Wrath, you have changed since returning back. Maybe the facial structure has. Maybe the eyes have changed. Maybe certain features have changed, and part of that could be a glow up by the presence of Strawberry, an amazing person that has come about since. But in terms of depth, in terms of frequency and picking up on some important details, that is because of true crime. We're constantly doing videos day after day, looking in deep, the language, the wording, the meaning behind it, and how people act with time, picking up on all those little details, then applying it now to the Kenny Veach case. So basically it's just a level of experience with time. And then in the background with everything that I've gone through and experienced, with more of a more serious now, more locked in now because of other stuff that's gone on in the background for the right or more so wrong negative reasons. But the focus is there, the depth is too. And that language and wording goes a long way, because when you look back at comments by Kenny Veach to Gene Lukowski to really Robin, what's mentioned in footage, the words don't quite add up, the meaning doesn't, there's contradictions after contradictions. And when it comes to contradictions and hypocrisy, I am the absolute master of it, because I've had to analyze and study humans so much because of the way they have been with me with time and in the background. It's not just a YouTube thing, it's in the background as well. So I've picked up on a lot. We've got Circa, who I think I remember seeing previously. You know what the weirdest thing is, Travis Neighbours? Kenny Veach's final message, comment on YouTube, the thread where he announced coming across the cave, that's all been deleted. That comment, that entire thread, deleted. Who by then? One of three things. Kenny's account was active. The YouTube channel that commented, that Kenny commented on, the YouTube channel decided to take it down, which is very creepy. Or third, it was reported. No rules were broken. No guidelines were broken yet. Kenny Veach's comment is long gone now. Oh yeah, there's archives of it. But what does that mean? Having archives of Kenny's comment when the original is gone. The last known presence, the last known activity of Kenny Veach online, announcing what he's found, a mysterious cave and vibrations on a video titled Son of an Area 51 Worker. And that comment just magically disappears at some point in 2021, I think, onwards. That is not normal whatsoever. We got Ghost Rider, I believe. Welcome, Ghost Rider. We got Brian. Welcome, Brian. Damn good point on the beer/cooler. We'll need to check that out. Andrew says what we need to know is is what was in Kenny's cooler when they found his car. If beer was in the cooler, Kenny was 100% going to return. If no beer, he had no intention to return. But it also comes across as, did he have the cooler with him in the first place? Wow, 52 people watching live. That's really good to see. Welcome if you have just suddenly joined, highlighting the importance of the Kenny Veach M Cave case, the amount of activity going on now, and how some have tried playing it down since, which is weird. We got Winnie the Pooh, why leave money and a phone? I was up all night thinking why. That's a key point, that not Minnie, oh, I can't see your name. Can I call you Winnie the Pooh? That's easier. Kenny Veach wasn't in his words. It's in the words of the girlfriend. So you can only take that with so much belief without going all in on it. There we go, we've got Thomas. Welcome back, Thomas. I remember you. Conservative, they should have done more of an intensive search 2014. Any traces of evidence being probably washed away by weather. Exactly. He left phone and coins as a marker so people could find him if something went wrong. Do you know what the interesting thing is? And everyone, make sure you're listening in. We don't know why Kenny Veach truly put the phone and the coins near the mine shaft, but it's the girlfriend doing the talking on behalf of Kenny Veach. Kenny isn't even around public to defend himself or explain why. It's the girlfriend doing all the talking, as in, oh, Kenny Veach was depressed. Kenny Veach went out to end his life. Kenny Veach likely did this, and Kenny Veach likely did that. And Kenny Veach left his phone at the mineshaft because he didn't want to be found. If you didn't want to be found, you wouldn't take your phone, coins, or anything in the first place. If you're not intending on returning back, you wouldn't take your backpack with you. You wouldn't take that camping gear with you if you're going to stay overnight. If you're going out there and you're not going to return back, why do you text your nephew, Hunter Veach, that you've got a surprise for him and you'll give it to him when you get back? Oh, don't worry, I've covered it on my channel, the never seen before text messages. And we can always bring it back into focus once again, because there are some details here and there never seen before, or at least at the time, never seen before. And for the general public that probably don't come across my channel, it is arguably never seen. Winnie the Pooh, yes, you're right, but why no camera with him? That's a key point. So Winnie the Pooh, the reality is the girlfriend doing all the talking said Kenny's actual camera, video recorder, what he uses in his hike video of October, he didn't take with him. It was still in the house. Okay. But, and it is hard to find because of all the comments in that entire thread on Kenny's video, Sharon Pilgrim, the girlfriend, also said in one of the comments, because I remember it ingrained, that one of Kenny Veach's other cameras for simply taking photos was missing from the house. And hardly anyone acknowledges that. And probably a lot of people may have not seen it. I don't know if anyone's got screenshots of it, but it's somewhere. It might have been lost in the thread of comments. Like, there's like hundreds of responses, so it's hard to track it all. But I remember roughly word for word, the girlfriend Sharon said Kenny's original video camera was found in his house, but his other camera for taking photos was nowhere to be seen. So likely Kenny took that with him. How weird. If you're going out there to truly record the cave and the experience, you would take your video camera. If you're not going to take your video camera and you're not going to take anything, then maybe there's some issues going on and you're not intending on returning back. But what happens if you take some stuff and you negotiate in between? It's like you're going out there but not fully prepared to document it, but you're still going out there to record something. Now, depending what camera Kenny Veach had on his phone, when he went out there the first time and came across the M Cave, whilst he didn't have his video camera with him, if he had his phone, which is likely the case, why didn't he get, the camera app on the phone and record it or take a photo? Right? Was it an excuse by Kenny? I wonder. We've got Blue Owl. Welcome. I don't believe Kenny was at the movies and only made the decision to leave at 6 a.m. I mean, I don't know if there's any hard evidence. Oh my God, my hair's a mess. In the official police report, it does state, as in the timing, I think it was like 2200 hours onwards, went to a movie theatre with his girlfriend to watch a movie. Can't remember the title of the film, something to do with birds or wings or flying or being free. Someone interpreted it as a cryptic message behind what Kenny was going to do the next day. At 2300 hours onwards, they said their goodbyes and parted ways. And I think Kenny at that point mentioned about the hike the following day. And it might have been 6 a.m. when Kenny Veach sent Sharon the message about what he's going to do. It's not Kenny in the break-in footage. I've proven that. It's not a hoax. I mean, the hairline, coincidence. The walking and stance, coincidence. The grabbing of the leg, which just happens, I think, to be the same leg as the one he injured in the past, coincidence. Too young. I mean, black and white imagery, not the greatest. What I will say is, Jeff, I might do a separate video on it. The break-in of, was it 2024 or something at the healing store? That particular one, I've not looked into it deep enough, but on that occasion, I'd say not Kenny. The 2018 one, because it's closer to 2014, the coincidence of it being the healing store run by the Veach family is just, and knowing where to go, directly going behind to get to that little desk drawer, it's interesting. He did stumble though, in terms of his movement. But this is what I mean. It's about building layers, right? You find one bit of material, one bit of evidence to suggest he's alive. That's got to try and use specific wording. If one thing is ruled out or played down, another thing can come along. And that would be 2022, November time or so, around Kenny Veach's birthday or so. And a call from Kenny Veach's Facebook account is done to Susan Veach, the sister-in-law. Echoing sweetly, that's a good name that, welcome. Winnie says, I know he had personal problems, but that's normal. He had a lovely home and can't see him doing himself in unless he had a big insurance policy. As for life insurance, that was never paid out or came through. But the thing is, Winnie the Pooh, whilst the girlfriend likes to do all the talking and pushing of mental health, she is a mental health profession in her own right. And she was the one to say to Kenny, don't pull a Robin Williams on me. Would a girlfriend say that to a boyfriend, or would a partner say that to the other half? Don't pull a Robin Williams on me. Don't end your life in such a casual way. It just seems a bit odd. And to be honest, the relationship status between Kenny and Sharon is very odd, because if they are together or close and Kenny was having trouble. Why couldn't Kenny move in with Sharon or look out for one another? Jeff, grabbing the laptop on the way out, afterthought. It was an iPad. What I'd like to know is, Jeff, who the hell has an iPad in a store, in a business, on charge, turned on overnight? What about the hazards, health and safety? Would you honestly leave an electronic device, a valuable one, in a store just like that by itself and charging and turned on? It could overheat. The battery could explode. It could set fire. Who knows? But I'll tell you something. The sister to Kenny, who runs the place, Debbie Veach, played it off as if, oh yeah, all those dust particles. No, it was cleaning bad, was it juju or something? It's cleaning bad energy. Not that it's all linked, but it's like turning a negative event into a positive, but not being natural. A business strategy. Hey, look, we've got a healing store, healing crystals, tarot cards, crystals, skulls, the lot. And by the way, someone broke in, a negative event. And then when they left, all these particles appeared because it was cleaning the air, bringing peace and all that. Business strategy. So yeah, kind of going on the sideline there with certain events, but with covering true crime, going in deep, analysing and questioning everything. That's why now, when I look back at the Kenny Veach case and even old material, I'm picking up on more now than I did before. It's just an evolution of Warlight Ref, okay? Turning into a hybrid. Strawberry, how many days was it before his girlfriend alerted he was missing? That's a key question. Are you ready, Strawberry? Are you ready for this? Kenny Veach said he was going for an overnight stay, so like 1 to 2 days. The girlfriend said she reported Kenny Veach 2/3 days later. The official police report, I have it, I've done a video on it, officially stated, get ready, Strawberry, the girlfriend actually, as a fact, reported Kenny Veach missing 7 to 8 days later. When it comes to a missing person case, the first 24 hours are crucial and important. If you know someone is going for an overnight stay, and then one day after you don't hear from them, or more so a few hours later you don't hear from them, considering you know where they're at, considering you know how dangerous and bleak it can be, considering you know, as a girlfriend, that Kenny Veach was once stranded on a mountaintop 20 miles up a mountain, blowing his leg or injuring it in some way, needing to be airlifted. If you've heard about your significant other, your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, who's gone out in the past, being stranded in the same area, and it just happens that this time round you don't hear from them within an hour or two, you might build up a defense mechanism within. But if you have a level of silence with your loved one, you might think, well, that's not the same, that's unusual. What's going on there? And you'll act on it as soon as possible. And if you thought, you know what, I'll give it 1 extra day, okay? Oh. But the girlfriend thought, you know what, I'll do it 7 to 8 days later because that's really going to ensure survival. That's not normal, right? Welcome to everyone else that has joined along the way. Really shocking what's going on in the case. All good, we're okay for time. That's all good to know. Apologies if the flow isn't the best. My throat is messed up and it's different to when I'm doing normal videos because I can edit it and do it in breaks and pauses. Welcome, Marshall, to the channel. Welcome. So do we know what happened to Kenny then? There is material and evidence to suggest Kenny Veach is out in the desert, as in his phone and coin found at the mine shaft. But as to what he did from there on, that's a mystery. His actual scent was out there, so that counts for something. But it ended at the mine shaft, and the arguments are maybe he turned back the way he came up. Why would he turn back? To go all the way back down to his vehicle, but his vehicle was left, wasn't it? So did he get picked up by someone else? Did it take 7 to 8 days to report Kenny Veach as missing because the girlfriend needed 7 to 8 days to move Kenny Veach on to somewhere else? I wonder. Who else do we have? Oh, we got Bruno. Welcome. If you try to spell my second name, is Suja. Okay. We got Bruno Suja. Welcome. Have anyone checked on his girlfriend, her past, any debts, anything like that? It's hard to remember it all, but the thing is, Bruno, there was a bit of a background check on Sharon Pilgrim, and whilst I can't remember it, it is on my channel. If you go to my main channel page, you go to the playlist. If you find my playlist called, was it Kenny Veach or MCave File, Case Study? It's some kind of like a case file playlist where it's like focused, dedicated videos on key people of interest within the case. Did it on Sharon Pilgrim, profession in the mental health field, I think profession in property and businesses. She had a handful of businesses here and there, and most of them all shut down or just disappeared. And I think DJ Moore, another YouTuber, did some coverage on Sharon Pilgrim, and it was a bit shady and dodgy for her businesses, how they just kind of like closed and unusual stuff. I think there's something to do with maybe homelessness, homeless shelters, housing for people, which is weird. If you're in a relationship with someone and you have been for some time and you know them rather well, you'd hope to think that they would look out for you and you do the same for them. And Kenny Veach was on the verge of homelessness, and that's why he was willing to sell his house along with himself within it. And if that didn't work and it fell through, and his YouTube inventions fell through, what did Kenny Veach have? Well, Susan Veach, the sister-in-law, had claimed that Kenny Veach had a new job lined up. So did he have to go missing? Sharon, yeah. So this is the other thing, if anyone wanted to know. In terms of Sharon Pilgrim, the girlfriend to Kenny, you know what the age difference is? 19 years age difference. Sharon Pilgrim is 19 years older than Kenny Veach. So that's just a little fact. Thomas, why would he place his cell phone on top of the mine shaft? Wouldn't you just throw it somewhere else if you wanted to disappear? True. In fact, if you were going to go out there and you didn't want to be found, you wouldn't take your phone with you in the first place. Okay. Jeff, she didn't want to have to answer police questions about her judgment. What are you referring to, Jeff? Are you referring to Sharon, or you talk about Debbie as in the breaker? Marshall, hello. I've been following this for some time. Thanks for having me. You're welcome. It's good about your hair. It's always good when new people show up or previous people show up for the first time. God, this bloody coughing is crazy. Where's his wallet and car keys? That's a key one, that. You'd think that the keys should be either on Kenny or left in the car. Don't they say the first 48 hours are critical? Yeah, probably. I thought it was 24. Imperial, if I wanted to throw someone off scent, I would have left stuff there and then headed the opposite way. Why coins? Key question, Winnie. Maybe it might have been spare change, what he left in his pocket from the last time, but I'll tell you something. Okay, you take your phone out of your pocket because it can track you, your GPS, your tracking, your phone ping, the weather app, remove that. But coins aren't going to be digitally traced, right? So just keep the coins in your pocket. There's no need to take them out. And because Kenny Veach wore like cargo hiking pants, it means they've got deep pockets, meaning Kenny Veach likely had to manually dig in deep and pull it out of his pockets. So it's like intentional, you could argue. We got KB, welcome back KB, key individual. Andrew and gun, belt buckle, steel caps from boots. Well, in terms of Kenny's firearm, he did take it with him. That's what the girlfriend said. Because the firearm wasn't at the house, it was assumed Kenny took it. Add one with another, and that's why Sharon was pushing the ending one's life, basically. But we have to remember that when Kenny Veach went out there on his recorded hike, he had his firearm with him. Did he pull it out and point it against his head in that hike? No. Did he use it for possible protection? Yes. Could he have done the same thing when he went out November 10th? Absolutely. We got Hang Time. Welcome to the channel. What was in that video that went private a couple of years ago showing the MK with a picture? Yes, there we go, Hang Time. So what you're talking about, Hang Time, and anyone else wondering, it's Accord Research. Cave M. Not M Cave, but Cave M by Accord Research. The hertz, the frequency, the waves. I don't know what the actual figure was, but the cave, the frequency behind it, some group in the 60s or something, research group called Accord, went out there and found the cave and was analysing it. It was along the lines of something like that. The thing is, that video, that cryptic video that was uploaded on YouTube, disappeared, deleted, removed, like other stuff. Yet again, people deleting, removing things. Really, Robin, footage, channel, deleted, removed. Official news articles on Kenny Veach, removed. Kenny Veach's own comment on YouTube, his last ever known comment, the warning by Lemmy Kilmister, don't go back out there because if you do, you won't be found or you won't return back. All deleted. Why is everything being deleted and being removed? If it's just a simple thing that Kenny Veach went out there to end his life, there should be a reason to make it so mysterious. If it's that simple, don't make it so deep. Look, when it came to the Noah Presgrove case, still ongoing, if you're truly innocent, why dig yourself into a hole and make yourself look more suspicious when you're innocent? Why should such a simple event in the Noah Presgrove case, was there a side-by-side rollover? Yes or no? Was there a shower? Yes or no? Was there a bedroom debacle? Yes or no? Was there an argument? Yes or no? And people have made it so complex with so many contradictions and key witnesses not even getting the story straight, that because they make it so complex when there's such simple questions which should receive a simple answer to a simple, innocent event which doesn't link to the death of the person, and yet it doesn't work out. So it makes you think, if there's stalling and delays and lack of clarity, then maybe people are hiding something. And with Kenny Veach, material and evidence being hidden with time, there's got to be something else going on. I'm just catching up with the comments for a second. Just give me a minute. Jeff, he saw someone or something coming and grabbed his phone to try to call for help. Pulled the coins out with the phone in a rush. I get that. Me personally, I wouldn't put the phone in the same pocket as coins because it would scratch the screen. But yeah. Oh, we got Anglo-Saxon. That's a good name. Feel free to check my channel out. I've got some ambient Viking war horns on my channel, Anglo. Dude, you aren't exactly the group of people that ate. What are you on about? Are you referring to, I am not a hiker, so I'm not in a position to be talking? Feel free to elaborate, Anglo-Saxon. Don't be pillaging my villages. Bruno, is it possible that Sharon, as in Sharon Pilgrim, might have been involved in a crime and tried to get rid of evidence, like an argument that went wrong? Is there any evidence of any activity from Kenny the day he vanished? In some ways, I just don't think that Sharon would be at the hands of it. With being 19 years older than Kenny, I can't imagine her like killing Kenny. But did she accidentally, or did she get someone else to do it on behalf? You know, just the reporting a missing person 7 to 8 days later implies that you don't care enough or you're not worried enough. Look at the Noah Presgrove case. Noah Presgrove, true crime related, in Oklahoma, Terrell, left a party house at 3:30. At around 4 in the morning, partygoers' friends went out searching. A level of concern. Not enough to report the person as missing with police, there's that. But it was a level of concern to go out looking and searching. But Kenny Veach, in terms of outright reporting him missing, That wasn't done immediately. So it's very unusual. Thomas, I wonder if the police checked for fingerprints on the phone or the coins. That's very important, that key question. And unfortunately, when it comes to the official stuff by police, the official stuff by search and rescue, very tight-lipped. Yes, it's a mystery missing person case. You never know, it could turn into a true crime case. There's always that possibility. Imperial, we get so close and then it gets deleted. The Area 51 are watching. Anglo says, go find some leprechauns. Make do with your own country. Your country is so much more cruel, mysterious. Well, to be honest, Anglo, I don't need to be searching for any leprechauns. And as for finding a pot of gold, I found something better. I found a diamond and it shines brighter than some gold. So all under control. Okay? Jeff, because it's very deep, as Sean says, the border people with a lot of power. Winnie, I wonder if it's Kenny or the cave that is more of a fascination. Are you referring to what I think is more interesting or what I choose over the other, or are you referring to someone else? Marshall, another theory. Wow, 65 people watching. Welcome. That's crazy, that. Another theory, what if he wandered off to a restricted property to commit suicide? Oh yeah, I see, because of censoring with words on YouTube. I get you, removing oneself from this world. And the government did a cover-up because it was easier than all that pesky paperwork. I mean, the thing is, with the military presence, a military spy drone captured on camera in 2019 near to the area where Kenny Veach hiked. It's very interesting. And that military land proposal takeover 1 year after Kenny's disappearance, extremely convenient timing. We got Trails Us, welcome. Love your channel. That's really good to know. That MK picture looks so real. Yeah, hang time. To add into that by Accord Research, I have the remnants. I don't think I've got the video, but I've got the screenshots. Okay, it shows like a pixelated photo of one of the presidents from the US for some reason, and some other photos as well. And you know that cave M, that photo, I added it over as like an overlay to the covered up cave which Sean Horlacker analysed in 2019. The supposed cover-up cave which Kenny Veach walked past and said, oh, a cave kind of like on ground level, just like right here. So I got to keep my eyes peeled, and then walked on. That supposed covered up M cave visually fits the Accord Research Cave M. But the difference is, one's filled in, the other one is like open. When you do the overlay of the photo on top of the covered one, it almost fits. Even some of the rock placement is in place. I used some kind of like transparency, you know, so it became see-through, and it just the angles, it did fit. Maybe we do another video on that, because speaking of caves and new discoveries, there are some new findings which have come about since. Like, in case anyone was wondering, within the last 3 days, of returning back to this case out of nowhere, how many videos have I actually generated in here? How many video notes have been made since? At least 10. After all this time, all of a sudden, 10 videos, 10 critical ones, including the 4 critical, important videos which I've already uploaded on my channel. From Kenny Veach starting his hike at the mine shaft, recording it there, 3 to 4 hours on foot. Distance wise, I think it was like 3.something miles, 3.70 miles on foot. 3 to 4 hours carrying a heavy big tripod just to use once on his hike. What was the point of that? Why didn't Kenny Veach record the previous bits? I don't know if it was Travis Neighbours or someone else suggested, well, maybe because the initial part of the hike isn't a big deal. There's not much going on. There's not much to see. And if that's the case, fair enough. But, you know, other hikers have recorded it. And to be honest, for Kenny Veach, it would have made sense. You're going out there to show your hike, to show your findings, your cave. You want to prove it to people that 1, you're out there, 2, you can find a cave, and 3, you can provide the location so other people could follow in the same footsteps, if that's what Kenny Veach really wanted. It felt like Kenny Veach was willing to show the proof of the cave, or try to, but he wasn't willing to share the location. Is it greed? Selfishness? Makes you wonder. If Kenny Veach isn't even in the desert and he's living elsewhere, that's somewhat selfish of him, because he's allowing other hikers to risk their life going out to somewhere where Kenny may not be. Wow, we got 73 people watching. Welcome. Welcome to everyone watching and all the important comments along the way. Winnie, what about the giant person, the Batman? Well, the only other Batman is me, because I got slapped in the face by a bat in the dark once when I was outside, but that's another story. In terms of like a winged creature, a bat-like creature, never been caught on camera, but it's been suggested by Really Robin. I think it was pushed by Jay Chuck at one point. And it's unusual because, speaking of people downplaying this mystery and case in the background, I've noticed that since. And there's been the odd whiny presence as well by another channel out there trying to downplay everything. I don't know how true it is, but I think some viewers on my channel said that the odd of a creator out there was talking behind my back in a negative way. Wouldn't surprise me. Humans tend to do that towards me eventually. Hang time. It does fit, but the picture looked to be taken from someone far away from the cave and on a lower level raising his arms to the top. That's a fair point. Hang time. Because in fairness, that photo by Accord Research, it was actually tilted at an angle. So when I was fitting it on screen, I had to like rotate it. Is that because of how the person took the photo? I don't know. Did he have a wonky hand? KB, you're not lost your sense of humour. I think my sense of humour has gone a bit dodgy ever since. It's upgraded in some ways. Martial law enforcement are people too, tight-lipped because they have to be, and they don't have open with everything, but the information they have available on active cases is frustrating, but the norm. The thing is, Marshall, the original police, Las Vegas Metro Police Department, those assigned to it originally, cold case. And then when Susan Veach was reaching out to the LVPD, some new detectives were assigned to the case, opened up. Did it go anywhere? No. Ruth Connor, welcome, Ruth. Nice profile picture. What's the update? The update is that there is more going on in this case than ever before. I'm able to do what I do because of my experience with the true crime case and communities, looking deeper, going further, questioning more, and in my own life with the problematic, disease-ridden humans that I've come across in life, always left me questioning why and what's going on in their mind, why are they mistreating me, why am I being used, why am I being screwed? A year or more of self-torture of the mind, building some kind of dark resilience, a mindset of an abyss more than other humans that have a mindset of a basement, digging deeper, going further, and it just so happens to be a positive for a case like this. With all the language and wording that I've analysed, when I look back at Kenny Veach's comments now, I can see more, I can see those contradictions, I can see those weird descriptions by Kenny. Even Really Robin has said some weird stuff. When you look back at his hike footage, the way he describes Kenny, the timing of the disappearance, very weird. Is it a mistake? Well, if you've been researching in the case and you know what you're doing, then why would you make a mistake like that? It might not all make sense at the moment because I need to do videos on it. I don't want to just like flood it all right now because it defeats the purpose. But what I want to say is, Ruth, when I covered this case in the past, I do a video once a week, once every 2 weeks. One, because I wasn't locked in with YouTube then, statistically and all that. I wasn't established. But also second, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can talk about in a case, in a mystery. But with true crime, what I learned was that unyielding, that dying, that last man standing, okay? That last centurion, the one with the absolute most stamina out there in more ways than one, and some people have experienced it themselves in other ways. But when it came to true crime, I came in and I said, I'm going to be the last person standing. I will continuously make videos for the right reasons and when there's something to talk about. It's a bold statement to make at the time when you're only just getting started. The Dylan Rounds case, 500 videos made. The Noah Presgrove case, 430 videos made. And guess what? Now, the Kenny Veach case, over 500 videos made. From 2020 onwards, that's the situation right now. Quite a lot of videos, and for the right reasons too. If it ever got to a point where there's not much that can be covered or talked about, then I simply stop or I cover something else. But if there are things to cover or highlight, then it needs to be done. What I will say is there are some extremely important videos in the past to do with this case which went under the radar because of the algorithm, because of YouTube, because of the desire and hunger lacking at the time. I might have to do another video. I'll do a poll at some point. And you know what else I need to do? In terms of archiving footage, before anything else decides to randomly disappear, I need to upload Kenny Veach's full hike and his, deleted or not included footage, post-hike, all in one video. So you see the start and the end. I know there's a lot of people in this case mystery that come along, maybe not on my channel, but just in general online on YouTube, and they say the hike video of October, which Kenny uploaded to his channel, he went missing on that one. No, he didn't. He didn't. Kenny Veach supposedly went hiking and recorded it, as you see on his channel, in October. Then November is when he went out the final time. But there's no direct proof to say the video he uploaded in October was the same month he went out on his hike. He could have recorded his hike weeks, a month before, and then decided to upload it in October, right? Jeff Clark has done the same thing when recovering from a hike, when dealing with the file size, the sheer size of the recordings on the camera, trying to compress the files because of the size, the timing it takes to upload and all of that can take days, weeks. Hence why Jeff said, here's a preview just to set the ball rolling so people knew what was up. We need to. I'm more interested in what happened to him. Fair enough. Other people are more interested in the M cave. What am I interested in myself? I'd probably say the area where Kenny supposedly was at some point. And the reason why I say that and why it sounds so vague is because you put aside Kenny Veach, you put aside the cave. What do you have out there? So for anyone that is watching right now and you've not heard of it before, make sure to listen in. The mine shaft. A crystal skull was found in the mine shaft. What the hell is a crystal skull doing in a mine shaft? And where did it come from? And why was it put there? In 2016 or 2017, when Jeff Clark went into that mine shaft, unknown to him, he caught it on camera. After that, it disappeared from the mine shaft. It wasn't even talked about at the time, and yet someone supposedly took the crystal skull. The same mine shaft where Kenny Veach stood near, the same mine shaft where Kenny Veach's phone and coins were supposedly found too. Did Kenny drop a crystal skull into the mine shaft as like some kind of cryptic message? In 2018, a year after Jeff Clark, supposedly Outpost Mojave, a group of 3 guys went to that mine shaft, accidentally, I think, broke the ladder and went inside of the mine shaft. And they supposedly found that crystal skull. But Jeff Clark and others believe it's a different skull. And they've kind of lied about it. It'd be an unfortunate case. But beside the mystery of the damage to the mineshaft ladder being solved, you got the mystery of the brace. A thick wooden plank that goes across from one end to the other of the beams of the mineshaft, the foundations and structure. It's been pried off with a crowbar, a tool. Why on earth would anyone do that? Why damage the mineshaft? There are possibilities that there is a rogue hiker out there purposely causing damage, sabotaging locations to try and get someone killed or just injured. So beside that, what other mysteries are there? Over Wild Horse Pass, further on north, past an agave pit north, rock formation, once caught on camera by Scott Natal in, I think, 2021, later, there was a tent found, a campsite, tattered, torn to shreds against rocks in a very tight little tunnel of rock formation. You know what's more weird? There was a concealed bamboo, long, sharp sword. What on earth is that doing there? Was that some kind of M cave hideout? Some kind of serial killer hideout? Someone that was camping out there, waiting for Kenny to show up? You never know. Scott Natal, the hiker that came across it, took the bamboo sword and then later lost the bamboo sword. When Scott Natal went back out there, the tent was completely gone. What the hell's going on? Quick question, Jeff Clark. Was it 7 months ago or like earlier, like older? Was it more than 7 months ago when Scott Natal went back out there and reported that the tent wasn't there anymore? The reason why I asked that, Jeff Clark, is because when I was looking on Driven X Adventures, that slightly whiny individual, they left a comment 7 months ago saying they went to that location and found that tent. Well, Scott Natal went out there and the tent was no longer there. So I'm just trying to remember, what timing are we on? 7 months ago or longer? If it's longer, then how would Driven come across it later? 70 people, welcome. So that are joining on him. Cleo, lots out there wanting death upon decent souls. Buy Cadaver Dog and go up there. Go and talk about Cadaver Dogs and buying them. It gives me PTSD flashbacks to the Dylan Rounds case and Earthworm Infotainment and all that drama. Oh my God. It was gone before they went. So Jeff Clark, are you saying that when Scott Natal went, it wasn't there, as we know? And then after Driven X Adventures went there, if that's the order, Driven said he's found the tent there. I don't get it. How can it be there and then it disappear and then it returns? It's unusual. Let's just catch up with some comments. Hang time. The fact he brang a gun the second time because he was scared the first time makes it makes it more real for me. Fair enough. Yeah. Winnie says, let me just catch on these other comments. Apologies. Jeff Clark, Travis, Sean knows the truth. He knows which groups have the power to hide all this information. Ruth Connor, thanks so much. I've watched your videos for ages. Lovely to catch you live. I love watching your videos to go to sleep. Wow, that's good to know. I'm glad the videos or the voice or whatever helps you go to sleep. That's good to know, Ruth. So shout out to you. And watching for quite some time. That's also a big positive there. Jeff Clark, border begins only 3 miles west of Kenny and goes on 80 miles north. Yeah, we did a bit of a map analysis on that at some point, the outline border. 74 people watching, that's really good. Location bizarre. The fact he brang gun second time, yeah, catched up on that. Jeff, I'm not sure. Natal is hard to follow. And I don't believe Driven X at all. Yeah, the problem is with Driven X Adventures is downplaying too much too soon. And then some videos where he said, this is the hideout of Kenny Veach, this is the location of where Kenny Veach is. What's going on there? I suppose some people said that Driven X was talking behind my back. I don't know what that was about because I wasn't even around at the time. Okay. So, people are playing it down all of a sudden. That supposed covered up M cave, which Sean more so put on the map with his analysis at the time in 2019. Driven X Adventures went up to that supposed cave, stuck some like snake camera into the cracks or the gaps and was looking at it on his device and concluded it's natural. Then I saw J Chuck, of all people, decide to jump on in. J Chuck saying, oh yeah, there's nothing strange going on out there. No, it's absolutely normal. Likely Kenny Veach just went out there and succumbed to the environment. What is going on there with J Chuck? Okay, J Chuck, the one that did Count Dracula as a voice impression at one point. J Chuck, the individual that said he could hear whispers and footsteps when he was out there. Oh, is that considered normal? What is going on? Are we seeing a shift and a change in behavior by humans within this case? You go too far, you dig too deep, online or physically in real life, and then all of a sudden, you do a 180. Oh, are we seeing a similar situation with Mac Adventures, father and son, go out to Area 51, check the gates, check the entranceways, cross over the line, intervene with military, gun pointed at you, you disappear for months, and you're supposed to go into a detention center 4 to 6 months, and then you come out of it, and then the son decides to do a live stream and says, there's nothing out there, no big deal. Oh, but you were so passionate and enthusiastic about it back then, and there was a level of encouragement to it, but all of a sudden now nothing to see. When someone does something so often or is passionate, when they do the complete opposite the next time round, there's a sudden change, a drastic change. Something has gone on. Something is wrong, likely. You don't just do a sudden 180 turn just like that. No. Hang time. I think he didn't bring his camera for his last hike, which means he knew where the cave was or it was all a lie. Yeah, so the thing is, hang time. The girlfriend states Kenny didn't take his video camera because it was at his house. The girlfriend said in a different comment, his other camera was missing from the house. So likely he could have taken that. What is Kenny Veach up to? It appears that Kenny Veach did take a camera. And if not that, what I'd like to know is, Kenny's mobile phone, did that have a camera on? Because if Kenny Veach had a camera on his phone, it's 2014, I think smartphones existed back then, there's no excuse. What I'm also saying is, if Kenny Veach, a few months before that, had his phone, had a camera, a rear-facing camera on his phone, and he was out there with it, okay, his reason was, well, I didn't have a camcorder, I didn't have a video recorder with me to document it. Oh, but did you have a mobile phone with you, a smartphone? Maybe. Oh, does it have a rear-facing camera? Well, there are no excuses. You record it, you take a photo. It's not that difficult. You know? You got some form of technology which has a camera. Doesn't matter how bad the quality is. Something is better than nothing. Was there any excuses made by Kenny? It all comes down to what phone did Kenny have at the time, and did Kenny have his phone with him when he was out there, when he came across the cave? Drink some... Okay, strawberry, thank you, strawberry. I think I might need some additional fluids or liquid elsewhere. That might work. Dale, I don't trust her girlfriend at all. She just seems to be off. Fair enough. I don't know if you know Dale Shackley, just to keep up with stuff. The girlfriend reported Kenny Veach missing 7 to 8 days later. You don't do that when it comes to a missing person. The first 24 to 48 hours is most important. You leave it any longer, it's as if you don't want the survival success rate to be high. You want it to plummet. And you know what's most problematic about it all is the fact the girlfriend lied public. You know, if she was honest and said, I reported Kenny Veach 7 to 8 days later, that would come across as odd and strange. But at least you're honest. But for the girlfriend to outright lie and say it was only a couple of days after, lie. Why would you lie? Why would a person in the mental health field lie? It's not a good look on them. Okay, what else do we have? If he brang another camera, that's another story. Well, yeah, that's the thing. The girlfriend said Kenny had another camera. It was missing from the house, so likely he took it with him on his hike. Vesna, I like you doing the KV mystery. I appreciate that. Was his firearm ever found at his house? No, it was missing from the house, so presumed that Kenny took it with him on his hike, which Sharon, the girlfriend, decided to push it, the narrative, as in, well, he must have took his firearm to end his life. But did Kenny Veach take his firearm to end his life in October on his recorded hike? No, he used it for protection. Hang time, random question. Why nobody bring an electric scooter or wheel to cover ground faster? Well, the thing is, in SB Vegas Adventures' recent video, he did acknowledge the possibilities of that, or something small. Mentioned horseback as well. I'm surprised Jeff Clark, Jay Silvios didn't show up on a horse or a donkey, went out there. That could have worked. So, when returning back to Driven X Adventures, shoved a snake camera, thin camera, into the cracks of the supposed covered M cave, or covered cave, and concluded it wasn't deep, it was natural rock. Maybe you can conclude from your point of view, but to be honest, did he show what it looked like on screen for his little device? No, you couldn't even see it. So how do you come to that conclusion? You can't even see that the quality is not clear enough. KB, have you any further contact with Kenny's sister? You mean sister-in-law Susan Veach? If that's who you're referring to, the last time I came across Susan Veach, there was drama, there was overly emotional charged behaviour by that said individual, took things out of proportion, not the first time, turned on me, and I thought, excuse me? Because whilst other people, most people turned on Susan Veach, or not quite turned, but had limited patience with Susan, and yet me, the catalyst, had the most absolute patience out there, and when a human turns on me despite the patience that I provide and give, well, then we've got a problem. And in terms of the activity levels, not seen much since, but supposedly on Susan Veach's YouTube channel, there's a post about Kenny Veach's phone or something to do with that, and I'll probably need to note it down and do a video on it maybe tomorrow, day later or so, just to have a quick look at it, just to see what the situation is. Oh, we got Casey. Welcome, Casey. Travis, he concluded nothing. Are you referring to Driven X Adventure? See, sometimes Driven X Adventures videos or the titles don't quite meet the actual outcome of the video or the conclusion, so it falls on its face. Jeff, Driven already made up his mind. He has no proof of a hoax. Hanging, it's the National Preserve. I don't think motorised vehicles are allowed. Okay. But you go on Driven X Adventures channel or some of the videos, you look at the comment section and the type of people that are responding. Oh yeah, it means it means nothing. There's nothing going on out there. There's like no mystery. Kenny's disappearance is fake. The M cave is fake. And you know what? It's a massive facepalm. Because I said, you take away Kenny Veach and the M cave, there are other mysteries out there. You have whispers. You have paranormal voices. Okay? I am the one that did a deep analysis of Picture Canyon. When Kenny Veach was going down Picture Canyon, There are ghostly voices, crystal clear. I've enhanced it. I've done coverage on it on my channel where it says, go now or don't go. Follow the red tape. I've done the captions. I've done the volume. Follow the red tape. And keep on going. Something like that. What is going on there? Hikers from Scott Natal walking out in the dark to Sean Horlacher walking out in the dark, hearing footsteps behind you, footsteps adjacent to you, looking around, stopping, nothing there. Kenny Veach, and it's not the best example, but it's something. Kenny Veach walking, suddenly stops, and it sounds like there's a couple more footsteps behind him. Kenny Veach at the mine shaft, looking around and says, oh, in a previous hike when I went up to Sheep Peak, which he called Gas Peak, got that wrong. Sheep Peak in the past, came all the way down the canyon, had to be picked up at the highway by his girlfriend. Just after Kenny Veach acknowledged having to be picked up by his girlfriend at the highway, there was a female laugh. There was a female laugh in the background in Kenny's video. What is going on there? Now, maybe at times it was breathing, exhaling, or squeaking, or birds tweeting in the background, but it definitely sounded like a female laugh. Oh yeah, there we go, watch her crazy. And start hyping me up at this time of the night. Oh yeah! Watcher crazy, watcher of stamina, watcher of health programs, watcher of the definition of muscle. The location is the key, but I don't think Kenny realised that until it was too late. I think maybe he has a new name on YouTube and looks at all this stuff, aiming like on the sideline in the background. Winnie the Pooh says, you're very one-sided and quite aggressive towards you belief. Winnie the Pooh, could you elaborate on that, as in who are you referring to as one-sided? Who are you referring to as aggressive? Hang time. Guys, if you haven't seen the M Cave picture, go look at Raf video 4 years ago. I can always reshare or something like that. Yes, watcher. The thing is, watcher, the Dylan Rounds case, dealing with all those naughty individuals in the community, whipping them into shape, etc. I've been able to keep it more under control here now as well. So the experience follows over. Oh yeah, Driven X has no proof, so I correct him. Yeah, watcher. Okay. It's had me hooked. Just catching up on all the comments. Winnie says, I admire your passion. Appreciate that. Oh, jam sandwich. Justice for Nerd Presgrove. There we go. So at some point, I do need to do at least one more or one other Nerd Presgrove video. Catch up on that glossary that I said I was going to do. Catch up on a new witness that has spoken out in terms of the shower footage of Nerd Presgrove, which I'll get to. Wow, 77 people watching now, nearly 80. I think not world record, personal best on my channel during a live premiere was 158 people watching live. Then a previous time it was 155, 153 when it came to Hobo Shoestring, when I was doing an analysis on that said missing person at the time. But for a live stream, and Kenny Veach, this is a new channel record. This has never happened before, this many people watching live. I think maybe the most might have been 20 to 30, but 77 max is, well, not max at the moment, it's really good. We got E-Curb, welcome back E-Curb, remember you. KB, I totally, oh God. I enjoyed the hotel tours and Dylan Round's videos. Whew. Yeah, whoa. There were some very dodgy and interesting findings there. And for some reason, KB There's a couple of occasions where I randomly ended up in some of the most unusual places. Yeah, definitely. Travis, I definitely heard footsteps during my hike out there. Can't imagine that place at night. Wow. For Travis neighbours to go out there hiking, for now at least, one time, one experience, and also, you know, experience firsthand footsteps, just like that. See, the reality is the reason why it's so important, why Kenny Veach should have recorded his footage, more of it, you know, on his way to the mine shaft and on the way back, is because you never know what you may come across along your hike and what you may record in the process. Most of the time, these hikers that go out there will record stuff which they don't see, they don't hear firsthand. And then it's the viewers afterwards that pick up on it. You know, for one hiker that goes to the mine shaft in 2014, nothing may happen. For Jeff Clark to go out in 2016-17, oh, there's a crystal skull all of a sudden, unknown to him. Then for another hiker to go out in 2021 onwards, Scott Natal, oh, now there's suddenly damage to the mine shaft. So for each hiker that goes to the same spot, you could say, well, it's the same old, you know, people have already been there, people have already documented it. Things can change over the years. That mine shaft has been there for nearly 100 years, if not more. Within the last 10 years, there's been more damage to it than ever before. And why? Oh, just because there's more volume there. To some extent, yeah. But there's some pieces that have been damaged and force was applied and it wasn't needed whatsoever. So that's what's unusual. That's what's strange. One hiker can go out there one time and experience the impossible. Another hiker can go out there a different time and experience nothing. Hit and miss. But if you at least record something, you got something to compare it with to the future. And we don't have that with Kenny Veach. Let's just catch up with the comments. Jeff Claw. Oh, God. I said that, it made my throat dry. Jeff Claw says, we need Silverheels. Is Silverheels going to challenge me to a boxing match again? Where he wears 12 or 7 ounce gloves with a knuckle duster under the gloves, and he do sparring sessions with me. He releases the penguin population out. He calls Jeff Claw or Sean Horlacher a snake in the grass. I'm like, God, then we can handle that. Strawberry, oh no, I would run or lend my sunglasses. Hold on a minute, what's going on here? Y'all, I just came across a black widow spider in my garage. Can I borrow a flamethrower? I would lend it my yeah, Strawberry, you would lend it your sunglasses, because the last time I heard, you said your spider buddy was wearing a set of sunglasses and on the way out on holiday. Oh, we got Criminal Med. Welcome to the channel. Probably a Nokia. Oh. I searched with my dog for Dylan and Aiden. Ah, interesting. I don't remember Criminal Med. Were you around on my channel at the time? I was around during the Dylan rounds, so maybe you were on my channel. I don't remember you then. Did you do any videos or documentation like that? Oh God, not the boxing glove. That tiny little boxing glove would not be fitting my mitts. Okay. So welcome to anyone else that has joined along and still present in the background. See, this is what I mean. There's a lot to go over and a lot of previous things to highlight too. And roughly 10 videos or so, some long, some short. It's just about doing the videos in the correct order, so it doesn't overlap and it doesn't overshadow previous stuff. And to be honest, if some things get forgotten about, or they don't perform how they should, and it needs more awareness, I guess I'll just do another video about it until people do learn. I think what I will do is I'll do a poll on my channel page at some point asking the audience, are you okay with re-uploads or new uploads of the same stuff but talked about in a slightly different way, or just simply reposted to get that awareness across? Because look, I'll give you an example. I uploaded a Kenny Veach short clip once before. You know how many views it got? 223. I re-uploaded it the next day. You know how many views it got? 10,000. So if the platform is inconsistent, if the reach is inconsistent, there could be valuable material and findings which go under the radar, never to be heard or seen again. And people need to know about it. So all you can do is re-upload the video in a different way. Criminal says, yep, I was around. No, I didn't do any videos. Should have, but we actually got within a mile of Dylan. Well, that's interesting, that. So did you do independent, separate searches? Was it in the early days? Or did you do private searches with the family? Justin Rounds, Candice Cooley. I forgot the names of the others. Was it Karen Rounds and whatever the names were? Go and bump the thread on GLP. I'm banned from GLP, Jeff Clark, for some silly reason. This is what I don't get. They say GLP, it's a war zone built for real men, mass destruction. You'll be torn apart, torn into shreds in seconds. You're going to be insulted left, right, and center, burnt at the stake. I showed up, and the only criticism that I got was some guy saying, God, he's boring. I cried in the corner for about 10 days straight, not. So I just think it's a little bit sensitive over there, but I think it's to do with self-advertisement, which probably they don't like. Eco, today this guy pulled out his wallet and I noticed it had a nipple on it. That might be mine. I wondered where it went. If you can get it back, E-Curb, glue it back on me, that would be appreciated. We need to poo. I watch your videos on my Oculus 3 in bed, like being in a picture house. Ooh. Is an Oculus... I might be getting mixed up because when I've heard of Oculus, I think of Oculus Rift, which is the head, like a headset that goes over your eyes like goggles. Criminal, I was independent with a couple of smaller YouTubers. My husband teaches skiing, so I spent 5 months a year in Utah. Okay, interested. Question, Criminal Med. So you said you were out there with a couple of YouTubers. Were they by any chance known as Earthworm Infotainment, Lance Kelly, or Ty Corbin? Who's the other one? Oh, I forgot the name. I think he was called Chris. Criminal Med, you weren't out there with salty pancakes, were you? These are just names that I remember from people back then. But I will never forget the incompetence by Kurt Wadsworth's daughter, Taylina, in which at one point I called Tay-Tay, and they thought, oh my God, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to play mind games with me? And it's like, no, it's just a random word like that, not that deep. And Taylina was like, no, I'm not really going to reveal the location of the killer's friend's house or, yeah, the home of where it's at. We're not going to do that on the mouse. You don't want to cause any trouble. Bollocks at the end of the day. Not that difficult. Reveal the location. The fact that I was able to find the location before locals were able to consciously map it out is beyond me embarrassment. Jeff Klaus. Oh, no, wait, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that name, Jeff Clark? Not the cursed name. What's the context behind that, Jeff? I'm trying to keep up with the comments. KB, Ty Corbin, salty pancakes. We need to be Meta Quest 3. I'm showing my age. What's that? Jeff Clark, you were remembering. I was remembering. Wasn't remembering those people? What with though? Travis Neighbours, do you upload any M Cave content on Instagram? I feel like you do well there. Right, okay. So the thing is, Travis Neighbours, I'm mainly active on YouTube. I've uploaded on Instagram as in photography, photos, plants, nature. I've uploaded some Kenny Veach videos and shorts on TikTok. In terms of a little summary, some of the videos that I've uploaded on TikTok showing proof that Kenny Veach wasn't alone out there. One video got 133,000, another one got 131,000, some have got 50,000, 60,000, a handful of them. On YouTube, one of the shorts that I uploaded on Kenny Veach has got over 300,000 views. So the awareness is there, but not for all the other videos, unfortunately, and that's where it needs to be. Remembering troublemakers. Well, yeah, there's that, Jeff Clarn. There was somewhere in there. We got Cyber Flippo. Welcome. Just found you on my feed, sending greetings from Netherlands. Oh, could that be the first person from the Netherlands I've come across in a while? It could well be the case. So that's interesting that Cyber Flippo was able to find me on their feed, because obviously YouTube and live streams, they don't seem to reach out to people much at all. This time round, it seems to be a bit different, which is very interesting. So for people watching right now, do you think that Kenny Veach was alone on his hike, his recorded one from his YouTube channel? Okay, so you see, there's a lot of caves in the desert, and maybe they heard people underground, but I can be wrong. I mean, what was I going to say? There was a comment on YouTube. There we go. Let me acknowledge a very important comment and question. One person recently on my channel left a comment along the lines of, why would anyone cover up a cave in that area? My response is, why would anyone go out there in the first place to hike in that area? And the timing of it. If the cave is covered up after, because before that someone came across something and claimed about it online public, it's going to gain the interest of those that may know about it and think, well, we best cover it up before it becomes a tourist attraction. You may not need to cover stuff up if you don't anticipate people to go to it in the first place. If it's in the middle of nowhere and no one normally comes by that area, you could leave it wide open. In other ways, as a very, 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 very dodgy example, you could be in the middle of nowhere, your legs could spread from one bridge to another, everything on show. Is anyone going to see it? Probably not. But then the moment people suddenly start showing up as tourists, you're probably going to close your legs just a little bit. So it only becomes a problem when there's levels of activity. And there's levels of activity out there. And still to this day, not a lot of hikers have been out there, but there's been enough traffic within reason to say, I mean, could you say that majority of hikers that have gone out there have documented their hikes? I think the majority have, but there've been some lone wolves which have gone out there, didn't record. Not that you should be forced to, but it just makes sense to record something to show that you are out there. It's like a digital logbook, because, you know, if you do have people going out there and not recording it and not talking about it, why are they doing it so secret? Some like lone wolf, some kind of rogue hiker. What's going on the sideline? Criminal says not salty. Well, that's a good thing then. Ecurb, Earthworm Infotainment was selling his property with the shipping container his girl and kid was living in. It was a very small and probably miserably hot in the summer. There's all kinds of drama with that. It got crazy. Jeff Clark, there's a big cave in really Robbins Canyon, big as I've seen out there. Don't worry, Jeff Clark. I'm going to do a video on that probably tomorrow, day after. Got to get it done before SB Vegas possibly goes that way. I don't know if you, Jeff Clark, want to reach out to SB in the background or somewhere in regard to details on that. I'm going to do a preview video about a somewhat explorable cave, Robbins Canyon, near the rock anomaly, which I originally said, okay, it had an M symbol translated, but does it link onto a possible cave nearby? You have a symbol on a rock and it's out of place. Is there a cave nearby associated with it? At the time, no. Upon looking back at the footage ever since, absolutely. But I'll tell you one thing, the reason why it wasn't possible back then is because we were dealing with, I think, remnants of Robin's footage. Because we got the full footage of Robin's hike now, you can see a lot more. And the fact that there could be, and there's supposedly a cave which is somewhat explorable, whether it's an M cave or not, it's groundbreaking. Because the fact is, not a single hiker that has gone out there has been able to find an explorable cave. Not a single hiker, at least to what we know of. And yet for one cave at least to exist out there which is explorable, that's groundbreaking. Changes it all up. Criminal Med, War, do you remember Jim Terry, lol? Well, yeah, because I can kind of do the voice. Probably not quite good for my throat right now, but how did Jim Terry go? It's like, by the way, Benny A, no. By the way, Benny A, you owe me a lot of money. What, you crazy? You got that wrong. You're not going to shut me down, no way. Got money in my back pocket. Now, the way you do me, you dog, I'll be selling all one. It was something like that. It was a very whiny voice, but that was not a good idea for my throat. So that's like how it went. I don't know if What You're Crazy is still about. And then I don't know if you remember it. Where's the other one? I don't know if you remember it, Criminal Med, but there was a person who was a fan of Jim Terry called Belle V, who was a nurse or was a nurse. There was a lot of nurses back then. I don't know what was going on. And I think Belle V was trying to do a consultation nurse appointment with me. And when I think of it now, I'm thinking, excuse me, I'm Dr. Raf, PhD in whipology. And Belle V was the one that stole my red royal robe, kept it hostage for a little bit. But when I tried doing an impression of Belle V, it didn't quite, well, it went quite well. She's the one was like,
well, my name's Belle V. Well, I'm gonna get some recovery pretty soon. Oh, my throat. Well, where are you? Well, like Raph, I still need us. Get that wallet of yours.
it started like Marge Simpson in one way, but don't worry, the accents and voices do get better with time. It's just I'm still ill at the moment, so I can't get everything out. We got Candalee Woodward Stone, welcome. Maybe the cave was a W. You never know. Sore throat in the morning. Well, at least I can relate to Strawberry because I think Strawberry has a sore throat. So everyone in the chat say to Strawberry, get well soon. This water's not doing much for me, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Jeff Clark, yes, it was a problem when Kenny Veach started publicizing the location of the M cave or the hike. And then a year after Kenny's disappearance, that's when the military land take a proposal. Winnie the Pooh says GWS, which means get well soon. Appreciate that, and it's more so towards Strawberry. Ekerb, Jim Terry has gotten himself involved with the mob here on YouTube. Oh no, is that to do with the Italians? Oi, hands off my pizza. What was that time? Oh, who was that? Oh yeah, that time. Estoni. What was it? I don't even know the fuck who it was. It's Stoney that said, or was she even Italian? I don't know, to be honest. I can't really fit it in. I don't think it's a good idea to be putting all these accents into this because it's supposed to be quite a serious situation. Criminal. Those were pretty crazy days. We're still looking for Aidan Clume. It was crazy. I remember that time when Ty Corbin looked like he was dragged out of the hedge backwards and started yapping on about me, trying to play with names and words. And Ty Corbin had no leg to stand on when he looked like bloody Thanos with that massive chin of his. So there was that. Cyber Flippo says, sending get well wishes to both of you, Raf and Strawberry. Appreciate that. Cyber. JW, wasn't he seen on CCTV robbing someplace? Well, some people say yes. Jeff Clark doesn't think that's the case. Casey, get well, Strawberry. Keep you in my prayers. Oh, we're doing well for timing. I can do this for like another hour or just a bit under another hour, like 40 more minutes. We'll just see how things go. Obviously very positive. I can always do another live stream at some other point, but you know, for those that have joined late and wondering what's this all about, it's highlighting the importance behind there's more activity in the Kenny Veach case MK mystery than ever before. And granted, there might be more questions than answers, and people say, well, we've not got any closer to the truth. Well, sometimes before you get to the truth, you need to be able to get all the questions in first. And if you only have some questions, you're not going to get the full truth or enough direction. And look, at the end of the day, more questions, less answers is better than limited questions and limited answers. There's some movement going on. Oh, Glenn says, don't forget Brookie. Oh, goodness. Criminal says, get well, Strawberry. Jeff, what happened to Really Robin's video answering your questions? He was scared beyond belief. Yeah. So, Jeff Clark, very interesting situation. I was looking back at that Q&A video that I did. It was absolutely critical that I did that at the time. Instinct kicking in, documented on my channel. And the reason why it's very important, Jeff Clark, Robin supposedly was out there more than once. I'll need to do a video on that because his response was very interesting. I don't know if I picked up on it at the time, but you look at these words and lines, words in between lines, additional references and meanings, how it's dropped in so casually and maybe slip of the tongue at times, and it's like, is there more going on? Do they know what's happening? Criminal, have you looked at Daniel Robinson at all, War? That's another very strange desert case. I mean, if it's a desert case, it could be something I could look into. I don't know where I would start though, but Criminal, is the Daniel Robinson case, I'm not too sure, is it along the lines of driving a car, it crashes, and then it's abandoned, and then it's like, where is he? Something along the lines of that. Does it roughly give a location, a start point where he was found or last seen, or where his vehicle was last found, and then it's working from there? Is it like a very small extent of a Aidan Clune situation where parked up on the highway, got out and then walked off supposedly? Because if it does follow anything like that, you know what's really interesting? I covered the Christine Passay Parker case, and sometimes I had to be careful when I was saying it a bit too quick. That the middle name Passay, I didn't say it incorrectly because that would have been a bit awkward. But Battle Mountain, Nevada, they didn't take the medication. They had trouble in the past, trauma to the head, traffic incident or so. They weren't taking the medication at the time. They got confused, bad memory, didn't know where they were. They panicked, tried paying into a hotel or a motel, and card declined, got worried, got scared, called husband, didn't wait, drove off, went down the Dwight D. something Eisenhower highway, I think, went to Eugene Mountains randomly, driving up Eugene Mountains, vehicle got stuck, she got out, phone, wallet dropped, left behind outside of the vehicle, her dogs escaped, ran off, she went off. Where did she go? I did a map analysis. Search rescue teams did what they did, couldn't find her several times, and then I suggested maybe it was northeast, like west, over that way. That's what the case was. She was found over that way. And victim's family at the time did reach out to me and gave information and stuff along the way, which was obviously a positive. So that's all good there. Criminal says, yes, Arizona, is that right? Father, very involved, looking for him. Right, so when you say yes, you mean a vehicle, it crashed, and then the person may have got out and something happened and they've not been found. Because it's desert, because when there's like a correlation or an environment that I'm familiar with, and there's things that I can do. It's something that I could possibly apply. I'll try and write it down. I was going to get like a screenshot just to remember the name, the Daniel Robinson case, but I don't know if it'll mess up the live stream, so I'll have to try and remind myself afterwards. I hope I don't forget. Jeff, Robin insisted on meeting Sean and myself, one of which was at a diner. Didn't happen, but was a bit unusual. Travis, Robin seems wildly unstable from what I've seen at least. Casey, I think Kenny wasn't alone. I think his girlfriend was with him and helped him with the stuff. And I remember you did a video about the mirrors. Yes. In the unreleased footage by Kenny Veach when he got back to the vehicle, the way his mirrors were on his car, they were like adjusted so you couldn't see a reflection of what was behind the camera. Adjusting the mirrors so you can't see what's around or what Kenny Veach is looking at. And even when he went up to the camera and picked up, he kind of like covered it in some way. Weird. We've got Roots Lion. Welcome, Roots. Welcome to the channel. Jeff, Sharon could not have done that loop hike at her age. Impossible. But did it sound like there was a female voice, a laughter caught on camera in the background? Yes. Could it have been someone else? You never know. I'm pretty sure Kenny was alone on his hike, just the vibe I get. So Travis, you're referring to physically alone. There was no friend, there was no girlfriend, there was no family member, nothing like that. But Travis, considering you've heard footsteps when out there, if you do get the time, feel free to check my paranormal video on Picture Canyon, in which Kenny Veach, unknown to him, captured ghostly voices saying, "Follow the red tape." I've done a video on that, and then let me know. Criminal, Daniel disappeared. They found the crashed Jeep. Okay. Right. Depending on the injuries and the situation, crashed, ran off, chased down by someone. If not that, accident, crashed, concussion, discombobulated, disorientated, stumbling around, not quite there with it. This is just my rough analysis on the moment before I know anything about it. There were water rights involved. Rumour is they got rid of him because he was finding water issues. Is this to do with farming conflict? Because when I think of water rights, it reminds me of the Dylan Rounds case, I think. Martin, 74 watching, but is this live stream? Yes, Martin, and I can see your comment right now. Different to a live premiere. A live premiere is a pre-recorded video uploaded live in the moment for everybody to watch. Like going to the cinema, movie theatre, a live premiere screening. But this is a live stream, meaning it's all in real time. So questions and points mentioned right now, I can see and read. It's okay, Martin. Welcome to the channel. We got Luke. I thought that was, is that Darth Vader in the profile picture or something else? Wait, just say, I am your father. Ooh. Who's your daddy? Oh my goodness. Best not that, probably trigger Cleo next to start talking about daddy. Luke, Sherlock Holmes and the M Cave mystery. Roots, isn't It's Time had a live alert in over a year. A live alert in over a year. Wow, that's crazy. Criminal, they were trying to put in a subdivision. Okay. Yeah, so I think what I'll do, look at the Daniel Robinson case, might do like a bit of a default video, look at some articles, read it out, learn on the spot, live, raw, make sense of it, and then do a map analysis and go from there. At the moment, got to keep the traction and the focus with Kenny Veach. So look, this is the thing, and just as a heads up to Travis neighbours, when it comes to YouTube, the algorithm is extremely strict. You need to focus on one thing and one thing only, one niche, one topic. You cover Kenny Veach, you stick with Kenny Veach. You cover a true crime case, you stick with it. If you change around too much or do different videos here and there, the algorithm can't keep up, and it likes consistency. Basically, YouTube, as an inbuilt OCD mechanic, it needs to follow a routine and it will remain happy and stable. And if you go against it, you'll get shut down, statistics get shut down. And if it's all about spreading awareness, you want the best outcome. TikTok, not as restrictive. One day you could upload a video of yourself wrestling a kangaroo. The next day you can upload a video of you growing strawberries in the backyard and watering the plants. And then the next day you can do a video of the Kenny Veach case, and each video has the opportunity to perform. There's no limitations with the algorithm on that platform, not as much. So what I'm doing with the Kenny Veach cases, I'm trying to lock in as much as possible. If I do any short clips or post in between or live stream, it's all about Kenny Veach, just to see if it works, because nothing worse than doing a very important video and for anyone else, like a hike, and not enough people see it, because ultimately you want people to see the truth or the findings along the way. Baking strawberry cakes. I mean, yes, you could bake strawberry cakes out there, but it's hard to replicate where there's only one strawberry present. What else do we have? Winnie the Pooh, keep up the good work. Appreciate that, will do. Criminal, so where do you think Kenny actually is? There's evidence to suggest he was out in that desert area up to a certain point. There's no evidence to say he's dead. No hard evidence. There's material to suggest he's alive and he's elsewhere. Roots algorithm on here sucks. Ridiculous. Absolutely. It's crazy, the algorithm. See, this is the thing. If you're covering a true crime case or a mystery, if you're a smaller channel, and technically I am still a small channel with a kind of a smallish audience, if I go on to a different case right now and it's unpopular, it's probably not going to perform. It's not going to gain traction. If I move to a popular case where it's already somewhat saturated, I've got more of a chance. If you're a bigger YouTube channel with a bigger backing and a bigger audience, you can do anything you want. If you had millions of subscribers, you could cover the most unpopular case and it would gain that traction because you've already got a big following in the first place. So basically, bigger channels can do quieter things and it works. Smaller channels sometimes have to rely on more popular trends. That's why people jumped onto the Charlie Kirk bandwagon, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but you can see when it when it works, people will follow with it. Okay, I do Kenny Veach and M-Cave, but I did transition onto other stuff in between. But why do I focus on one thing at a time though? You know, after 2022 when I moved on to true crime first time round, then Jeff Clark, SB Vegas Adventures single-handedly kept the case alive as catalyst, then other people have joined in since, right? I cover one thing at a time because just for me in my mind, it's easier to focus on. If I switch and turn to different things, I'll get confused or I might slip up with the names and details on it. I don't want that. It's more stable, more stability, sticking at one thing at a time, better pacing. Roots shorts should be banned. Sorry, they're annoying as hell. Well, yeah, but what I will say is Roots shorts are good if you're doing a preview of what's coming next. Recently, I've been doing short clips to give a preview and a heads up that tonight I'm doing a video, tonight I'm doing a live stream, so it gets people's attention, so they're ready, and then they'll come and watch later. So that works there. Reality is YouTube Shorts can get you more views than long format videos. So if you're trying to get that extra reach in spreading awareness of cases or a creepy finding in Kenny Veach, like the creepy voices caught on camera, the strange behavior by Kenny in his hike, the way he appears nervous and stutters and stumbles, that in these short clips with that better reach, you can target a broader audience, and then hopefully some of which come on over to your channel, and then, you know, the rest of the research is shown. But yes, as for the AI, that is cancer. There's too much of it, too many short clips. It's a bit of a mess. Glenn, let me know if you need material. I have pages of missing people and unexplained homicides. I appreciate that, Glenn. That's very helpful to enter consideration. Eka, wow, girl walking her dog. Big old legs, so much friction. I'd be worried about setting her... Ooh. So basically what E-Curb is saying, that he's come across a female that has a possible hazardous bushfire that could escalate at any moment. But don't worry, all under control. Because, not from experience, because that would come across as a bit weird. In the past, the way my thighs were, they were much bigger but not muscular. And they would rub together and it would create rawness of the skin and it would bleed. Now, they're not fat, but they are, I think, 25 inches. So it's okay, it's under control there. But, I don't know, it's a bloody weird example, to be honest. What am I doing? Roots, question. How often are areas like where Kenny vanished surveyed? Are there any records of big collapses, rockfalls in the area since he vanished? In terms of rockfalls and cave-ins, fill-ins, doesn't appear to be the case. As for surveillance, if you're talking about cameras, there's supposedly trail cameras out there, but not in the right ideal places. There's some trail cameras further north over some mountains, further away, closer towards the rock formation where the tent and sword was found by Scott Natal when he did like a reverse hike back. But those trail cameras were away from Kenny. Ooh, good question. We'll get to that in just a second. Martin, what's up with your doorknob? There is something stuck there. Yes. Yeah, sorry, I think, yeah, what's stuck there is, I think, Strawberry. I think Strawberry was wearing a dress, so I shut the door, and I think the dress got stuck in the doorway. Apologies. Martin, what's up? Original Lone Ranger, welcome Lone Ranger to the channel. War, can you post a link that suggests Kenny is still alive? So right now I can't, because on mobile live stream and with only one device it will kick me off my own live stream. But Lone Ranger, when possible, leave a comment after this live stream, or when it's possible to rewatch this live stream when it's processed on YouTube. Go back on this live stream and drop a comment down below, not in the live chat, but down below later, as in requesting it, and I'll provide you the links, okay? I can't do it right now because I'm in the live, but I'll do it afterwards or tomorrow. Winnie the Pooh, dog on the other side of the door. Oh, that's no way to talk to Lady Strawberry. She is not a dog, she is a kitty cat. Meow. Travis, do you make your own thumbnails for your videos? Yes. So obviously I'll I'll use certain assets and stuff, but in terms of piecing it all together, yes, I do create my own custom thumbnails for almost every video. I use Adobe Creative Creations or Creative something. It's Adobe CC. Free to use, no watermarks. Well, there was a watermark in the past, and then through an update, they got rid of it, which is really good. And I've done it ever since. And as a heads up, Travis, as for all the videos that I've done, and you know, the recent ones where it's a bit more narration, cinematic, stock footage, almost every single video that I've done on my channel, on the Kenny Veach case, on other cases, it's all been done on my phone. That's it. Just on my phone. It's I've just got used to doing it that way and it works for me. We got Crisp. Welcome, Crisp. I meant like USG's terrain surveys. Well, I'm not an expert on that. There's been like maps online of all the mines, the mine shafts out there, the like terrain, certain keys, visuals, different color tones, the elevations, maps, the heights of it. But as for actual fill-ins or collapses, I've not heard of that to my knowledge. Criminal, I just think something hard would have shown his presence by now. Nothing makes me think gone. Jam, I'm sure Nellis Air Force Base has ground sensors and cameras, but I think they are too far. They are too far, but depending on how you interpret Kenny Veach's original comment and where he could have been compared to where he was in his video, there could be a link. It's okay, Winnie the Pooh. Oh, strawberry, meow. It's good when you meow. Okay, so original says got it, good, that's good. And this is the thing, if anyone didn't know, in the text message with his nephew, Kenny Veach said, if he doesn't find the M cave, he will head 45 miles north. Whether he did that or not, that's what he was willing to do. The fact that Kenny Veach said in the past he covered 20 miles up to a mountain and got injured, he's at least willing to cover 20 miles one way and 20 miles back, which he was going to do, which he wasn't able to because of his leg injury, but if no injury, he would have done that. So he would have done 40 miles, or could have done in the past. If Kenny Veach was to do 20 miles one way, 20 miles back, Jeff Clark says, is impossible in that terrain. So what I'd like to say is, Jeff, I don't know if it was directly mentioned to Sheep Peak where you went, but Kenny said he covered 20 miles on foot one way. Do you believe in that, Jeff? Why did Kenny write that, say that, especially to your nephew? Not my nephew. He exaggerated. Okay. So you're saying Kenny Veach exaggerated. So what else could he have exaggerated about them? You did a video, okay. I mean, to be honest, the thing is, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, if Kenny Veach was saying something like Joe May Road up to Sheep Peak, and that was 20 miles, let's just say, and you go onto Google Earth and you measure it and it's nowhere near 20 miles, then exaggeration, I get it. I've not measured the distance because I've not needed to. I mean, I know Jay Chuck's done some, Jay Chuck, it's like 7 miles, okay? But this is the thing. Tripling. Ah, right. So if there's a pattern of behaviour with someone like Kenny, overhyping stuff, overestimating things, and so on, it can have that knock-on effect of what else did he do? What other issues? What other exaggerations? When Kenny said he felt vibrations from a cave, how true is that? Of course, the counterpoint would be you, Jeff Clark. Besides Kenny, you're the only hiker to feel vibrations. So if you were just going north, would be about Hidden Forest Trail. Right. So what you're saying, Jeff Clark, is when Kenny said about, if I don't find a cave, I'll head north for 45 miles, with what you know of Jeff Clark, with the exaggeration and the tripling, you mean based on your rational thoughts that when Kenny says he would head north 45 miles, you mean he would head north but not 45 miles, much less, and it would probably be up to Hayford Peak around Hidden Forest Trail. Is that what you're referring to, Jeff Clark? I'd get that. There we go, Jeff says yes. That's all good. I get it. Because naturally there's only so much that you can do on foot. You can only go so far. And, you know, they might get some exceptions of people that can go a bit further, but it is demanding. But, okay. But still, if Kenny said, if I don't find the cave where he originally thought it to be, he'll just carry on north. What type of directive, what type of mindset is that? You know, that attitude to have. You're somewhat familiar with the area. You're somewhat confident that it was in that area you said. And now Kenny's like, well, if I don't find it, I'll just keep on going north. You know, with that mindset, does he have anything in mind as in what he's going to find north? Or what? You got the cold traps, which Jay Silverheels mentioned. If anyone has any questions, if there was anything strawberry you had questions about, or anything strawberry you wanted my thoughts on, feel free. Wow, I've just noticed 64 thumbs up and 65 viewers. That is probably, my God, that is the best ratio I've ever seen. What is going on there? Wow. Roots, you guys actually going out there hiking, looking, deserves massive respect, doing more than authorities. Well said, Roots. Because this is the thing, Roots. Search and rescue went out there limited. The family supposedly never went out there. I mean, maybe you wouldn't expect it because it is quite desolate, but didn't even step foot anywhere near from the looks of it. Most people gave up on the case, and then volunteers, general public, etc. have gone out of their way since. What else do we have? 64 watching, 67 likes. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Martin, I did install many doors in my life. That one behind you is effed up. What the hell? Kenny's dead. He did owe too much money. Just as a heads up, Martin, I am known to rip doors off with my bare hands accidentally. There was one time I was at the greenhouse and I walked away closing the door and somehow it followed with me in my hand. And then there was another time where there was a cupboard door. I just simply used my finger and the hinge came off. So be careful when fitting doors. 69 likes. Interesting. Okay. Oh, we got Phoenix Reborn. That's a good name. Welcome. I've liked it now to match it up. Well, we're at 69 now, so it's all going well, Phoenix. Cleo, because he might have told them not to say go looking for him, but they can't say that. God, time's gone quicker tonight in a way. Wow. So in terms of structuring and ordering videos as to what to expect next, some ideas here and there right now in the moment, which I'll have to note down or try to note down. I never doubt, I'm sure I'll think of it another time or another day, or you want to remind me about the odd video idea I said I was going to do, you can do so a different day. But what I'm probably going to focus in on tomorrow or so is probably going to be the cave, which is possibly explorable, which Robin caught on camera, and it's near to the rock anomaly. You know what the crazy thing is, Jeff Clark? The amount of abuse that I received and resistance when it came to doing that video showing that it's been found, the rock anomaly, the one that you recorded, Jeff. A lot of people saying it's not the right area. You don't know what you're talking about, Raf. And it's like, I think I do know a thing or two, because an actual hiker has gone out there, put in the time, recorded it, found the correct canyon, and then showed it and shared. And I'm the one that's being told and, you know, told off like a naughty boy. It's a little bit embarrassing, a bit unusual. But then again, Jeff Clark was the one to say an unusual amount of gravel was washed away and can't be traced or found nearby. Maybe the camera angle as well. So when people see it, they'll be thinking that's a different canyon. Or it's not the same thing, but it is. Cyber Flippo, and a new Dutch subscriber to your channel. Ooh. So I appreciate that, Cyber. That's very good. That more videos to come. Jeff Clark, my question is where the 2 feet of white gravel under that rock went to. If it was further down, you could say because it washed away, heavy rain at some point. But it's nowhere to be found. Where else could it be? Just a quick question, Jeff. In terms of where that white gravel was it under rock? So if that white gravel was washed away, does it cause any of the rock to collapse or move? Phoenix, ignore them, dude. Infighting does nobody any good. So on that occasion, Phoenix, when it came to that video, I didn't do any fighting or responding. I just let people yap on because there was too much to respond to. Other times where there's resistance or conflict, I had to respond back because anyone wanted to know, there was actually a time in true crime where I was actually falsely accused of being a trafficker, okay? So you talk about the Kenny Veach case and the mysteries there and all the weird, creepy stuff going on. Well, supposedly, Warlight Raff at one point was labelled as a trafficker and another person labelled Warlight Raff for doxing someone's ginger cat around a tea table. That's the stuff that I've had to deal with and more as well. The rock was half buried when Robin showed it. We don't get much rain. I mean, that missing gravel, any type of similar activity to that rock which came off that supposed covered cave, as in someone's going out there moving stuff about, but difference was you saw that rock on the ground, Jeff. As for the gravel, you just didn't find it. So did someone scoop the gravel up, put it in a bag and then leave? Unusual. Phoenix, not from your behalf. I mean, those people saying comments like that, fair enough. You're trying to find evidence and put the pieces together. Yeah, appreciate that. Hope his tortoise is okay. Oh, you mean the one that was in the desert, which he captured on camera on the way back? Or changed the rock. Oh, I think that's what some people were saying, different rock or something. I don't think people would have changed the rock, in my opinion. That's a step too far due to how heavy and big it is. I've been called a stalker first time in my life. Well, I guess it just depends how you are around people. You know, if you go on different pages, keep following someone, keep going after someone and they say stop, or, you know. Me, a stalker? Ha. I mean, Cleo, you did follow me on several pages when I said, let's just stick with YouTube, and you kept going elsewhere and trying to constantly message. And I was like, whoa, 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 calm down. I don't forget. Globulars. Sorry about that. Bad cough. Globulars. He went in the mine, went as far as he could, then collapsed the tunnel. Well, speaking of tunnels, Globulars, I think Jeff Clark was the one that mentioned that there was a possible tunnel in the mine shaft, but it's just not accessible. Follow me. Ooh, trophy. Helicopters can do a lot that we cannot. Appears to be. So, not too bad for timing. I might do a countdown shortly. So, someone called the fake stalking. Is that a bad thing? That profile picture is quite fitting. He collapsed it. I believe there was that fake Robin account that said they were going to go back to the mineshaft and prove that there is a hidden tunnel there. Never happened. But, you know, did a video at one point, map analysis, like a diagonal one saying, well, from the mineshaft to wherever underground base leading to military base. Jam. Drones, much better nowadays and utilised. If anyone else has joined late, you can always rewind back, and if not, just a quick recap. Talked about the mysteries in the case, the things that don't quite add up, the fact that from how I covered stuff in the past, I would have only seen it a certain way and picked up on it in a certain way. True crime led to more of a holistic outlook in visualizing and interpreting stuff, but analyzing people's language and wording went so far and was really important that it can now be applied in the Kenny Veach case to determine what's really going on. Globulars, you have to step up. You have to step up top to let you know where you was at and went down inside, collapsed the tunnel and offed himself with the pistol. Roots, Heavy D likes a challenge. Amazing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you talk about Heavy D and his crew, Diesel Brothers, they were the ones that tried looking for Susan Powell down that really deep mine shaft, which was a good video. I think the letter M cave was real there. I mean, in fairness, there are caves out there, a couple of them with time back, share the characteristics of an M shape at least. Glenn, you can never rule out the fact that 90% of Nevada is owned by the US government. Okay. So, it's been a very good night in terms of activity, discussions, key people showing up, new people showing up, returning people showing up. Massive shout out to everyone that is watching and has watched tonight. I will do a bit of a countdown before I do end the live stream, just in case there's any final points, okay? Any final questions, feel free to leave them and I'll respond back as I'm counting down and we'll just see how that goes. Cleo, don't be developing an attitude with me. Not necessary. So I'll count down from 20. Any final points? I think Strawberry has given up in terms of all the talking and coughing. I think probably just laying down, having a bit of a rest. So you're the last Strawberry about, Jam. You welcome, Criminal. It was a big positive that you showed up, Criminal. Also good to hear with the Dylan Rounds situation and that Daniel Robinson situation. With that clarity on the environment, if there is time, it does encourage me to cover that case, because if I'm familiar with a certain type of environment or terrain, you know, Kenny Veach, Dylan Rounds, similar. Noah Presgrove, similar. When it's rural, you can use maps and it's open to interpretation. That's why I'm able to do what I do. So they're the cases that I would stick to more. So Winnie the Pooh, great stream, thanks. Have a great night. You too, and if you do have any honey, enjoy that. Ooh, Jam with the little devil face. Indeed. So yeah, with all the Strawberry Jam about, best not be getting in any sticky situations. Okay, I'll count down. That's if I can even count down, because I might be coughing too much. My God, what a vocal workout this is. Luckily, it doesn't always sound like this when I'm doing my normal videos. I mean, the crazy thing is I was even more ill a few days ago when I was doing the narration videos, but you know, you can pace yourself when you're talking. This is continuous talking for like 2-3 hours, so it's just gonna have a bit of a wear. And it's at the end of the day, so if you do it earlier on in the day when talking, it's not as bad. But take in mind, when I was coughing like this in the past, it lasted for nearly 100 days of trying to do YouTube videos, which was hell. We got Maria Emilia Souza. Welcome. I like the way you handled the Kenny Veach case. I watch your channel every day. Wow, that's good. I live in Brazil. Ooh, there we go. I think that might be a first. I also have a son who has been missing since 2006. Sorry to hear. I think people from outside do much more. Oh yeah, in terms of searching and stuff like that. So shout out to Maria. KB, hope you and Strawberry get better. Well, I don't know if Strawberry will ever keep making her laugh when she's got a sore throat. So I'll have to be a good boy. Catching up. Cyber, thanks. Hope you feel better soon. Till the next one. Take care. Have a good sleep. Okay. Yep. So it's good that there's people from different countries showing up and pairing, which I never would have thought of beforehand. So it's always good when people leave comments. Okay, 20, doing the countdown now. Any comments, final points, any questions, you can leave them now if you want. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Strawberry bears on the wall, 99 bottles of beer. Oh goodness. 19 bottles, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. You're welcome, KB, and Winnie the Pooh as well. Oh, Criminal, rockets. Well, Criminal, I think there was a person called Crisp in the chat earlier, and he had a rocket emoji, so he might be getting ready to go to space already. Oh no, I forgot 17 bottles, 17 strawberries. Cyber's gone for bingo already, full house. Oh my goodness. 17. Rewinding the... Okay, you take care, Roots. Enjoy the rest of the video when you get time. 17, 16, 15, 14. Oh, we got Ben. Oh, Ben. I don't know, I get so hyped up about Ben all of a sudden, but I remember Ben. Sharon didn't report him missing for a week. Yeah, enough time for him to make it to the East Coast, maybe. If you're really concerned about a loved one, especially in that case, the relationship status, you would act on it as soon as possible. You wouldn't act on it immediately if you kind of knew what was up in the background. It'd be like, there's no rush. Oh, we got Imuna. Still working on Kenny Veach, yes. I've returned back recently. More videos than ever, almost videos every single day, and picking up on more things than ever. This live stream does explain it. I've come to the end now because been talking for a long bit, but if you want to rewind back, feel free to do so. I watched some of them, kind of interesting. That's good. I'm glad you liked some of the videos. Ooh, Jam, let me tell you about this time the 33 birds. Are they all tweeting? And they had 45 pebbles. Greedy bastards. What are they doing with 45 pebbles? Oh, I know, Jam. Throwing those pebbles against the glass to steal the toast inside, which has jam on it. Get your oven mitts out and waft the birds away. Oh my goodness, I'm on low battery. That might be a sign. 20% battery level. The numbers don't lie. Whatever that means. We're playing 97 games of bingo. Whew, it's going to be a long one. Oh, I've lost count now. Where are we at? 20. This does tend to happen. I end up losing count. 20, 19, 18. And what ends up happening is when I'm doing this random countdown of numbers, as Jam does help with the assistance in counting, more people end up showing up and somewhat interested by all the numbers on the screen. 27% battery, that's a good distraction. Take 7 off, we're down to 20 now. It's not looking too good for me. Just do a live stream till the phone dies. That's another one. There was one time though where I did a live stream. I shared my live stream on mobile. It kicked me out of my own live stream. I couldn't get back in. So basically my live stream was on a loop for hours. That's crazy. And people thought, what's going on? But I don't know. 20, 19, 18, 17. I mean, normally strawberry's the naughty one because they end up making me recount. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Jam, I've never met a countdown. I can't help but mess up. Never met a countdown. Well, I'm supposedly the countdown individual. Just don't make me start counting down in Espanol. I think I can only count up to 10. Winnie says, ah. Oh no, did someone step on your paw? Oh no, Winnie the Pooh. Get a bandage right now. Dr. Ref is here. You need a one-on-one consultation. 55 times. Double it, give it to the next person. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. How many R's or A's? I guess it determines on how much pain someone's in. 6, 5, 4, 7, 8. So, based on my diagnostic report, 7 A's could imply a great deal of pain or a great deal of frustration or disappointment if Winnie the Pooh's honey has run dry or empty. They need a resupply. 1S. Ooh, is that Sam? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Finally managed to count down. So shout out to everyone that has watched, still watching, reached the end of the countdown now. Expect more Kenny Veach videos to come in the coming days when possible. As for the Daniel Robinson case, if it reaches a patch where there's nothing left to do, I'll focus in on that. The Noah Presgrove case has slowed down now. We've already gone into a Happy New Year already because it's taken me this long to do a countdown. So that's all good there. New year, new me, Cyber Flippo, has it all under control. Take care, Phoenix. Roots as well. Wee time. Ooh, see, senor or senora. Yes, Winnie Pooh, you have, you do what you need to do, release yourself or whatever that is. Did you say tree or free? I said tree because I can't say free. The way my mouth is. It's like when I say, well, when I used to say fairy, people thought I said a fairy. So I have to say a theory. So it's just how it's pronounced. Bit dodgy. Okay. So I'll end. Who are the top fans? Just as a little shout out. Ooh. So when it says top fans on live streams and premieres, it's just based on activities. I'll just give a quick little shout out. Oh God, how many are there? Ooh, do you know what? There's probably a bit too many there. Let me just do the top 5 fans. So Jeff Clark is in 5th place as a top fan tonight. 4th place is Strawberry. Bloody hell, that's a little bit high. Should be a bit more up there, Strawberry. Probably slacking when falling asleep. Travis Neighbours in 3rd place. Cleo in 2nd place. And who's in 1st place? Winnie the Pooh. There we go. Winnie the Pooh is the top fan tonight. There you go. At the top of the list, number 1 on the leaderboard. Interesting. So, with that all being said, my name's Warlike Ref. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, the update. If you want to hit the thumbs up, that'll be appreciated. If you want to share the video wherever, that's also good too. And if you want to rewatch the video or catch up on it, once this live stream has ended, I think there might be a couple of hours for it to process or upload. So then when it becomes publicly watchable. And on top of that, oh, Criminal, you're on 7. That's good. On top of that, in terms of the live stream, live chat replay, that shows up later. It doesn't always show up immediately. So if you was to rewatch this live stream as a normal video, the live chat may not show immediately, but it will later, just as a heads up, okay? So that being said, I'm gonna settle down now before bed because it's nearly it's nearly 0000 past midnight. Oops, gone a bit too over, but it was worth it. I was surprised by just the amount of people that were watching, but obviously encouraging, and it's a sign to keep on going and to push harder in the case or with what can be done. So take care, Jam Sandwich, and everybody else. It's now time to end the live.